I promised you that I would show you how to use Autocrat. I think this is a really awesome tool that saves a lot of time, and I'm going to use it for our certificates for class. So this is the certificate format that I'm using. I got this template online. I did a search, and I ended up getting it from Microsoft. This was in PowerPoint, which is not a problem for me because I know if I upload my PowerPoint file into my Google Drive, it's going to turn into a Google Slide document, which is exactly what I want. Now, the thing that I want you to notice is I have these little tags on either side. These ones you would actually use for mail merging. So if you've ever used mail merging before, you will be familiar with those. So now I want you to notice in my spreadsheet what happens. So you can see that I have name, first name, email, and date. So on the certificate, I want to pull the name field, which would be first and last name. But on certain things, I just want to have your first name. So when I'm going to send an email, I'm going to send it to your email address, and I'm just going to have your first name on there. And the date, I wanted to put the date that I'm issuing the certificate. So that's what that date is. So now, how do you get Autocrat? All right, so you're going to do an add-on, and I only have the two add-ons that I use for Google Sheets are the Autocrat and the magical digital badges. So for Autocrat, if you don't have it yet, you're going to have to click on add-ons and then go to get add-ons, and you can just type Autocrat in the search and then you can install it. I already have it. It looks like this. It's yellow and it has like basically coming from one place to send it to all different places. And you can see again, this one has over 10,000 users, so it's a really good one to use. Okay. So now that we have the add-on, we're going to go to the Autocrat and we are going to open it. So it's working. Just takes a minute for it to come up, so be patient. And then I haven't run anything on this particular spreadsheet yet, so I'm going to click to get a new job. And I'm going to give it a name. I forgot to put Google first. So now I have a name. I'm going to click Next. And then I'm going to get my file from Drive. I could create an example right from here, but I already have my template, which I've already shown to you. So I'm going to click on it here, click Select, and then I can click Next. So I didn't click Next yet. That was just grabbing the tags from it. And for this, these are other ones that I have run before. So like dietary restrictions, I use that because I needed for prom, I needed to get little slips so that people that had the dietary restrictions got the food that they wanted. So there's all sorts of ones that I've used it before, so it can be very handy. So I hit Next. This is the one tricky piece. If you don't do this, I've literally looked at this being like, what? Why isn't mapping? And I freak out, and it's because I'm not in the right tab. So if you use a sheet like I am with multiple tabs, make sure you're having it read the right tab. And so I want it to go to Certificates Awarded. And when I do that, I don't have any longer, it doesn't give me that error message it was saying before it wasn't mapping correctly. So now it knows name is going to map to name and date is going to map to date, which is perfect. I'm going to hit Next. And then I'm going to give it a file name. And it tells down here that I can use tags. So these are, again, tags, those like less than, whatever the word is, greater than. So the tag I'm going to use here for the file name is I'm going to put name. And I'm going to put Google Summer 2020 Certificate. So what's going to happen here is when it creates the file, it's going to put your name or whoever's name is getting the certificate, and then it's going to add this next to it. And then I get to decide what type of output. Do I want it to be in a Google slide? So maybe you want to do a Google slide so everyone gets a Google slide like sort of as a template. So for those of you that are thinking about doing those notebooks for students, this is the way to do it. You're going to put the tag in with their name, so you're not typing one for every single student. So they're already going to get one with their name on it. And then if you share it to them, then that means you have access to the underlying folder as well. So this is something for anyone that are going to use those digital notebooks. You're probably going to want to get Autocrat. It will save you a ton of time. I'm going to send it to you as a PDF document because I want it to be the PDF certificate that you can upload for your evaluation evidence, that you can send to DESE if you need to have if you get audited. So I want you to have it as a PDF file. So I'm going to send it as a PDF. This output type, there is multiple output mode or single output mode. So the difference between these two things are, let's say I was doing a bunch of worksheets and I wanted to make them individualized for each student, and the worksheet was pretty much the same, but I wanted them to have their names in the document. So maybe I had a picture of an apple and the kid's name in the middle of it or something like that. So then I would do single output mode. It would just give me a whole pile if I was passing out those papers to students. And then this one, multiple output mode, it creates one file for every single student that I have in my list, which is what I want. So that's everyone, you get separate files here, and this one is you get one file. So for example, for the senior pickup, I used the multiple output mode so that every single senior and their parents got an email. And then I also did the same run for single output mode so that I could give Joanne a copy of all of them so she could print them out, because she was the one that was passing out the stuff and making sure that all kids brought in what they owed. So I used both of them, but you can only do one at a time. Okay, so here we're going to go next. So it's going to put it in the certificate folder where this certificate is. You can change the folder you want. You can just click on it and just adjust, but it's where I want it to be. This dynamic, I've never used it. I'm not really sure. You could maybe investigate if you wanted to learn about that. I've never needed it. Merge condition, again, I've never needed the merge condition. I just run it automatically when I want to run it, but this merge condition you could probably add and see if you wanted to try that one. I've never needed it. Share doc and send emails. So I'm going to say yes to this one because I want you to receive this as a PDF, and I want also you to get an email so you know that you have it. So that way I don't have to send them out individually. So this one, allow contributors to reshare, or collaborators to reshare. So once I send it to you, do I want you to reshare it? Sure, I don't care, but sometimes maybe you only want one person to get it. And then do I want it to send from a generic no reply address? So I'm saying no to that, but if you didn't want to have an email, if someone hits reply, then you could switch that. So here it goes. For the two, I'm going to use tags, and I'm going to put email, which is one of my columns in my spreadsheet. And then for the reply to, I want people to reply to me. So I'm going to put my email address in here. And then for the subject, I'm going to say, I don't know. I'm going to put, maybe I'm just going to put first name. You earned your certificate for Google Summer 2020. Whoops, I didn't get 2020 right. Or maybe I'll say congratulations on earning. So I'm going to put a comma right next to that. So that way it's going to say the first name, comma, space, congratulations. And then I'm going to make sure I have the punctuation. Yes. Okay. So now it's like an actual sentence. Okay. And then I can type a message in here. So I'm going to pause this while I type a message. Okay. So what I did do also is I ended up opening a Google Doc just to make sure I didn't have any typos, because actually when I stopped the recording, I hadn't spelled congratulations right. And I caught that. I had an extra T in there. So at any rate, you might want to do that as well. So I have my whole message ready. So now I'm going to click next. And so this one, job triggers, I'm not going to have one at all. So I'm just going to click. So now I'm down to the end. So I'm just going to click save. And it's going to save this job. And so then this is an existing job. I can go back to it anytime I want. So now for this play button is, if you can see if I mouse over it, it says run job. This is to edit. And this one is just previewing the job details, and then if I wanted to delete it. So I'm going to hit run job. And so it's starting the merge sequence, and you see it puts these things on the side, so it's going to be 14 rows merged, which is correct. You can see I have 14 data points. And it's working on it. I'll speed this part up, but just so you can see, and it's going to end up putting links over here on the side. Sometimes they get hidden. So now, this went out, and then I could click on that link. Now the emails are going to also be in my email because it's coming from my email address. And so that is going to, it's going to have the email in my sent items as well. And so now I can click and I can go and look at any of those. And so it's going to just go through this whole process. I won't make you look at all of it, but all of these certificates are being created. They are being saved in my Google Drive. I can click here to go to it to sort of look and see what it looks like. So you can see this one is Amy's. Her name is printed right on it. And it's just going to go through all of these. And also she's going to get an email, and it's as easy as that. So I hope that you do that, give this a try. So I just thought I'd show you the ending that you can see. So it says, just like I put, because you got to see what it looked like when I was plugging it in. So it says, Amy, congratulations on earning your certificate for Google Summer 2020. So it is exactly what I put, and you can see it replaced that bracket first name with Amy's name. It also did that here. And then this is all the text that I had that I wanted everyone to get. And then at the bottom, it has the certificate. So it's attached to the email. And it's also right in that folder that I can access. So I think that was the last thing I wanted you to see.